put your light on in the background, Penelope. Because you can't even see me. I'm a ghost.
Okay, you can't see me. Get my head.
Yeah, we can't even see me. So there we go. This is working great. Hello. It's dark. It's evening. I'm going to be a ghost. Boo! Doing the charts for the week of November 2nd to November 9th. My name is Julianne Duffy. Thank you for joining me. If you're watching this live or joining me after the fact, please comment and let me know where you're watching from. And I'm doing this Saturday night because I've got lots of stuff to do Sunday morning, and I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss the overall weekly review for November. So now we are November 1st today, so I hope you said rabbit or rabbit as you came into the first. But let's go over, as I start with this charts, these are a mixture of Vedic, Western astrology charts, where with numerology is what we're looking at. And we're gonna pick out the energies for each day this week, starting with tomorrow, Sunday, November 2nd, going till the Sunday after November the 9th. So let's start with the overall weekly guidance. So as we come into this week, it's a bridge between endings and new cycles. The moon is moving through Sagittarius and from Sagittarius to Pisces. So we're looking at wisdom with exploration into empathy and imagination. We have Mars, which brings in a new energetic rhythm in Cancer. So this is reminding us truth, strength. Oh my goodness. It's a little bumpy here. I'm going to hold this. I'm going to do my best. True strength that comes from emotional maturity. And so, it's a bumpy ride today. So when we get midweek, we're getting grounded with Capricorn Moon, helping us turn inspiration into a solid next steps. And by the weekend, the heart opens again, and we're looking at intuitive clarity, family harmony, and spiritual reassurance flows easily. So that is overall what we're looking at the week. So we really start November 2nd to 4th is really about awareness. Then we get into alignment November 5th to 7th, and then we get into integration November 8th and 9th. So we really look at, especially the 2nd and to the 4th is energy leaks, false obligations, revealing truth, gut instincts, stuff like that. We're sharpening our instincts. When we get around the middle of the week, the 5th to the 7th, it is creative flow returns, a lot of heart, soul, compassion, and alignment. And then the end of the week is ideas, words, social energy, our purpose and truth are all very highlighted. So that is the overall energy for this coming week. So let's dive into each of the days, starting with Sunday, which I would be doing on Sunday, but as I mentioned, I'm busy, so we're doing it right now here tonight. So the numerology, though, of the week is 11, which turns into the number 2, which is all about illumination and harmony. So Sunday, tomorrow, our moon is in Sagittarius. So collectively, we have expansion through release, honesty clears path. And so it's purity of our thoughts, intentions, and release of feeling heavy. And really, we're going to feel rebirth and truth. And we've got a lot of fire, which is vision, and air, which is inspiration. So really, it is the new fire after the purge. So it's like clearing mental clutter, collective residue. So you might have felt like there's a lot of things personally. It's going to be all that stuff is going to clear up. It's going to be released. Collectively, we may see public tones shift from outrage, fatigue to enough noise, what's real. We're tired. We're tired of what is actually real, right? Businesses are going to backtrack on overpromising. So maybe we'll see that in, businesses, especially if you're working for businesses that they're like, oh, we're going to do all this and this, and they might be backtracking with all that overpromising. And truth-telling continues. So we're already seeing some interesting truth-telling if you compare Bill Gates now saying that climate change is not detrimental to humanity. So that's an interesting, thing to see how that's going to affect a lot of things going forward. And it's interesting because when I said that, I lost a lot of people. So, just saying that the truth is coming out, and whether you like it or not. And on a personal level, you can kind of imagine Sunday as maybe you're replaying old frustrations and now you're starting to replace them with some clearer truth. So now you're kind of seeing things in a very different way than you did previously. And, maybe there's the idea like they'll never appreciate me, but really you're kind of going into that point that the experience showed me my worth. So for myself, like I can compare this with an experience I had yesterday, so October 31st during Halloween. And it was the most ridiculous experience, but it really gave me the idea that it's like, okay, why does it always feel like I struggle with this specific thing in my life? And kind of realizing that I'm just not made and fit to be in that. So it's not necessarily that I am the problem. It is more, these are experiences for me to learn from. And that is really what we're going to feel or come into that understanding when we come into Sunday. That's on our personal level. So if there's something that's been frustrating you, or you don't really, you're like, why does this always happen to me? It's really getting that clarity that these are experiences that we have to go through. So like me, I struggle often to have relationships with other parents and other moms, and I'm really narrowing it down that it's interesting because it's like, it's not even me. I'm very honest and open and clear. And then that actually, I'm learning, triggers a lot of people. People get very triggered or defensive because we've been ingrained in our society that truth is scary, right? So we have a lot of people that really run their life not dealing with things, not actually talking directly. And I wasn't, I'm not attacking. I'm just saying this is legitimately what happened. And then I was told that, well, that's too much drama by pointing out what actually happened and the truth of the situation. And so now we can't be friends. And I'm like, why does it always feel so like ridiculous? And I'm realizing it's me to have these experiences to learn that these are not my people. And it became very apparent that this is not my person. And few really are the people that are worth my energy, right? So that you can kind of imagine is the energy of what we're looking at on Sunday. Release heaviness, both so baths, meditate, journal are highly supported for Sunday. And a really great idea, but am I doing this from fear, habit, or love? So that's really the personal question of dealing with this thing. So, are you posting online? Is it to help or to prove a point, right? So it's that reflective time. So I'm going to pull a card. I'm holding my phone so it doesn't flip because, I'm obviously traveling. I am not driving. That would be almost impossible. But let's pull what the energies are. I'm pulling from the Quantum Oracle cards, and we'll pull just kind of what the guides have for Sunday. So Sunday's energy, what is the guidance for us to keep in mind? Because we are going through a very reflective stage here on Sunday. So, increase. That's awesome. Like I'd pulled decrease a while ago, but it was decrease reversed, which really showed that we were going through the transition into the changing of that energy. And so it's the increase. We're really increasing, we're growing, we are collectively getting the truth being told to us, as well as coming to our own truths. And that's increasing and it's coming back into harmony. Hello, Naveen. Thank you for joining me. Please, if you haven't, do like, share, subscribe to stay up to date with these. But we're going to continue. So let's continue to Monday. So let's get right into Monday, November the 3rd. We now have the moon in Capricorn. And collectively, this is discipline and grounded focus return. So its structures bring peace. It's ideal on Monday for responsibility, leadership, and organizing your goals. And what we may see as well, as I go here, where is that? Responsibility and mastery is highly supported. And we've got a lot of earth, which is that discipline energy, and air for clarity. We also have the numerology of 3 on Monday, which brings creative strategy and communication. that time to build and plan and speak into existence. So this week specifically, and all of November, if you did watch the overall month review, is a lot about being able to create what we're going to be going forward in. So what we're going to see collectively is institutions and teams attempt to get back on track after chaos in October. So you might be feeling this in your own job, you might be feeling this on different levels. So now it's a new month, it's time to start, and the energy is going to be a little bit clearer for that. Leaders who've been improvising are forced to create real structure or step aside. So those that aren't really doing, so if the leadership isn't really there, it's going to be apparent, and it's going to kind of force them into that reflectiveness. There is a tone of accountability, which is replacing confusion. And we want results, so we're going to see that also collectively, that there is more accountability coming into the collective, and productivity spikes for a few days. Logistics, project management, or budget, those things are highly supported, and they're going to work really well for the first few days of November. Now, if we imagine on our own personal level, the things that we're going to see is, again, because what's really highly aligned is accountability. So follow through on promises, especially if you made them this week on Sunday. Be accountable to what you promised. And that might be, again, your own budgets, replying to people, boundaries, whatever that might be. It is a shift from reacting to directing your day. So one clear decision beats 10 half moves. So that's really what Monday's energy is. So even if it's a little decision, but you made that clear decision, that is going to be very supported versus doing half-assed things on Monday. Like, it's not worth it. Go fully in, do one task, even if it's a simple one, complete it, and get over any of that procrastination. So see yourself like finishing that stuff. It's also a shift from reacting to directing, right? So, well, JC, you're welcome to move on. I don't know why you're here, but thank you for your comment. Shifting from reacting to directing, so that's the other energy that is there. And finishing the lingering adult tasks by midweek, and then the energy does diffuse. So it's telling you to do that. We're going to go over some train tracks, so don't mind if it's going to get a little bit bumpy for this moment. And it's also about leading by example, right? So be the example that you want to see, right? So, going to tell me that you don't want to hear me. Like, okay, troll. Okay, you're going to be telling me awful things and trolling me, right? Take some responsibility that obviously you're a douchebag. That's clearly your responsibility. We're very heartwarming. Not. Notice where you naturally take charge. So that's your authentic authority and your field. So that is highly aligned when you come through Monday. So really, it is about stepping up and becoming an adult. So like I was explaining about my experience I had yesterday, was really this parent not being responsible, not taking accountability, and kind of gaslighting me that some of it was my fault, yet they weren't taking responsibility for their actions. And that is not going to be supported if you're not taking adult responsibility. And there's a lot of that we're seeing in our culture right now, where people do not take responsibilities for their actions. They're not responsible for their own well-being. They're not responsible for their own prosperity. And if we look at the insanity of the things that are going on in TikTok with people with their, I guess I would call them food stamps, I think it's EBT, this is a lack of responsibility. It is time for you to take responsibility for your life, not systems to take responsibility for you. It's not outside you. And this is something that we all need to grow up in different ways. All of us have our own. So that is the energy. It's time to grow up, take responsibility, and stop expecting other people to either ignore that you're not taking the responsibility or support you in not being responsible and accountability. Thank you, Cool Cat, because it's done. Like, we're done. And there's a lot of us that have taken this responsibility, and it's gonna be easier for us that have been than those that haven't. And that is really where the energy lies. And yeah, so that's really what we're looking at on Monday, right? Build plans and start to plan that, put it into action, and take some responsibility. Like, stop blaming everybody else, because it does come up with what I had mentioned, I believe, for the month, which was it's time for us to, the chaos outside, yeah, that might affect us, but we have full control over how we react to those things. And a lot of it is pushing back that we ourselves have to take that responsibility. I'm doing pretty good. Obviously, you can see I'm on the road. Thank you so much for the comment, Sing. As I believe that's your last name. My phone is bumping around. So I'm moving a lot, bouncing around. But let's put the energy. What do the guides have for the energy on Monday that can help us with this personal responsibility, right? And just, not outsourcing our lives to other people's systems, any of that, right? Okay, and I'm shuffling them on my lap here. Fragmented energy, there you go, right? We've had fragmented energy, we've had people not getting things that they want from the system, because the system is not really there to be your friend or your babysitter. And also, everybody else that's working their butts off is not there to be your babysitter either, right? So we're in this fragmented energy, and it's time to start pulling those pieces back together and take that responsibility. So we're gathering back those pieces to become an adult. Oh, I'm not driving. There's no possible way I could be driving, but thanks. So that is the energy of Monday. Okay, let's continue to... Oh, I lost my paper. It fell off my lap. Okay, let's continue on to Tuesday. So that's November 4th. And the overall energy is stop pushing and start listening. So we have a deep listening and awareness. Wisdom speaks softly. So we don't have to force our accountability and our responsibility. Just being and representing that is going to support this growth and it's growing up. It's growing up collectively, right? And it's a reflective day. Messages arrive through silence or symbols. So we might get a lot of downloads and a lot of signs. Maybe we're seeing the 111, our animals, those type of things. Hello, MC. Thank you for joining. We've got wisdom and patience is really what's highlighted on Tuesday. And we've got the element of earth, which is grounding, and water, which is intuition. So those are the elemental overlays for Tuesday. And collective, the numerology is also the number 4, because we're on the 4th of November. So it's stability and foundations. So it's really about the unseen messages that comes that you can build on later. So that's really kind of those divine little messages you're getting. Maybe you're getting downloads. It's coming up in your dreams. All that energy already overlapped for November. And when we get into Tuesday, like, that energy is definitely there and starting to be highlighted. Collectively, we're going to find on Tuesday that the news is starting to slow down. So there's not as much going on. We're going to see external noise feels hollow. So the people kind of yelling outside, like the TikTok people that are losing their minds about their EDT, it's going to feel hollow, right? Well, internally, our inner voice is growing louder, like knowing that we have to grow up and take responsibility. We're getting louder and stronger, that internal willpower, that divine intelligence but that's on a collective. It's a quiet break and it's really highlighting on the collective that there's going to be more spiritual and creative communities coming out or showing different things that they're creating. Collective emotions are stabilizing after the last 2 days. So especially if you did feel any time from right around now until like the beginning, till the 4th of November, we're going to stabilize. It's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more calm, a little bit easier to go through. And we all want collectively more comfort, more calm, more grounding. Oh my. I get the more you put yourself out there, the more trolls you get. And I have to wonder what motivates the trolls. Because I feel like you're coming here to watch me, to learn that you're not taking self-responsibility, and you're kind of a dickwad. You know what? You don't like content, move on. Like, what is this with this, like, growing up? You have nothing, I don't know. It's a basic lesson that I feel like if you don't have anything nice to say at all, like, just move on, right? And I will put the whole thing down that I've been married to my husband for 19 years and we've been together for 25 years. And I will also say that I do not go into politics and I do not talk about any of it, and it doesn't actually matter. I'm talking about really what matters, which is us personally evolving. I know they're ridiculous, and it's like they just want the attention, right? So we just move on and delete them and let them go. But thank you, MC. I agree. Okay, so on Tuesday, so we really want to grow up and calm. That's the energy collectively. Now we can imagine on a personal level that we don't force productivity. Insights arrive when we stop filling the space. So it is a lot of that divine timing, because we talked about that with the monthly overview, that divine timing is like trusting. We don't need to push so much, right? So on our own personal level is if we're feeling like we're forcing something, we need to step back and stop forcing it, right? And filling space just for the fact of it, or just to make us feel better. It's also about noticing the synchronicities, as I talked about, the numbers, the animals, signs, all that stuff. It's also a really good day for research if that's something you're looking into doing. And because especially if you're uncertain about something, it is highly recommended that maybe you just ask before bed, like put out your intention of what you're, like maybe you're torn about a situation, or if you want to go right or left or whatever you're doing, like put it out, ask before the bed, because guidance will arrive in your dream state or upon wakening. You'll have that aha moment. So that is really the energy. So mark that down in your calendar. Monday, Tuesday, put out what you want, or if you're looking for some clarity, the dream time will really help get some answers. So we'll pull the card here for all of us for Tuesday, and what the guides would like to highlight for that energy. Family, friends, and guides. So what I said, like the energies, we've got the divine timing, we're seeing synchronicities, it is the guides helping us, but we're also connecting with the family and friends, because we're also taking responsibility, right? That's all that energy. So it really is reminding us that these are our support systems as we go through. And especially the guides, I feel like that's really the highlight for this, is the guides, because there's going to be lots of synchronicities and lots of downloads. So your guides are protecting you and guiding you, especially when we come about the midweek going into Tuesday. So Monday night, Tuesday night, right? Oh, now we get to midweek. Let's go to November 5th. So that's Wednesday. So Moon now is in Aquarius. Collectively, we are looking at innovation and collaboration, shared ideas, inspired progress, where collaboration, momentum, and problem-solving energy flows strongly. So if we might have already got a download because we're working on a project. That download might have happened overnight, and then that energy is going to flow really strongly as kind of an example of how that might manifest out. It's innovation and flow is really the day's energy. We've got the elemental over and fire, which is initiation. And of course, because it's the 5th of November, the numerology is 5, which is freedom through cooperation, adaptability, and shared breakthroughs. So it is about being really adaptable too, right? Because earlier on in the week, we're taking some responsibility, self-responsibility. Now we're going to be a little more adaptable so we can work in groups. So overall, the collective, we might see group efforts regain rhythm, again, because of that chaos that kind of overlaps from the Tuesday energy. Markets and negotiations show brief steadiness. So reasonable voices re-emerge. So we're starting to hear some more sanity. So maybe we'll see more people that maybe were using EBT going, like, people, calm down, like, let's all step into taking some self-responsibility. And maybe we should have been buying things to prepare that this could happen, right? So this is also that self-responsibility that, always just mentally being prepared that if you are relying on somebody that is outside of yourself, at any point that can change, right? So that is really part of that, right? So it's we're going to see more clarity, right? And more sane voices kind of being portrayed when we come midweek. And then stories of cooperation and compromise are replacing confrontation. So maybe we're like, we work together. We want to help each other, right? Like if you're truly a human, you don't want to see people starve or suffer, but maybe we can help and work together. There's lots of resources that can help people versus the stuff that I've seen highlighted from TikTok. And I'm going to use the EBT because that stuff is insane. I don't know about you guys, but watching somebody pull stuff that they stole out of their purse and admit they did it on social media is a new level of insanity of where, what is going on? See this, and you're admitting and telling what the prices are of stuff and how much you stole. I'm not disagreeing prices are outrageous. I don't disagree that it probably is a struggle when you've been reliant, but this is that self responsibility time, and that's not the solution, right? And so it's very strange. It's very strange. Hello, Night. Thank you for joining. Moonage. We need many Zorans in the world. I'm not sure what those are, so you may have to just explain to me what that is. And awesome. I just want to make sure I said hi to everybody in the comments. Thank you for joining me. Please do subscribe and like. I do these every week so we can see what the energy holds. Now, on a personal level on Wednesday, so you can imagine yourself on Wednesday coming through, you're going to brainstorming and co-creating is highly supported, like we were talking about. So again, other people hold missing pieces. So working with other people is going to be very divinely guided and assist you on Wednesday. If you did have tension earlier in the week, it might linger, but by this time resolve and be more calm and factual conversation going on. So if you did have some chaos, by midweek it's going to kind of calm itself down, and your mind is going to feel sharp and patient. So it's a really good day for budgets, logistics, and tech issues. So you'll have more patience for that stuff, and you'll find the solutions a little bit easier for any of that. And it's also, don't chase perfection. It's all about small wins, building our confidence. As we do, like, perfection is, again, I brought this up on when I was doing the monthly overview. Perfection is a perceived idea because there is nothing that is perfect. So specifically when we get midweek, perfectionism, don't chase it. Just good enough is good enough. Just win with the job's done. The projected new mayor of... Well, I stay out of politics. This isn't the place for politics because my personal opinion is I am not for politics, and that is how I stand. I'm not pro. I'm not talking about politics. It's not my divine guidance to do that. You can make your own opinion on that and how much you want to participate in it, and that's valid, totally valid. So let's jump into Thursday, but let's first pull the card for for Wednesday, and what the guides have for us. Okay. And in fairness, I am also from Canada, so my opinion is not really valid to most of the people that are watching this, especially if you're from the US or any other country. Hidden motivations. So what's interesting, so when we get to Wednesday, we've got the hidden motivation. So that, I find like that's really interesting because we've got the energetics of, let's go back on Wednesday here. We've got the energetics of brainstorming and co-creating, and people hold the missing piece. So it's really like, maybe the hidden motivation is really like, if you look at it in here, right, there we go. You can see that it's actually super beautiful. Like there's kids playing, it's greenery, it's actually quite, the motivation and the intention is actually really good. So maybe we felt like some of the people we're working with maybe weren't really in line, but by the time we get to Wednesday, the hidden motivations are actually, they're showing us in our personal lives, especially, that it's actually very positive. So that's really interesting, and especially since we're really having negotiations showing brief steadiness. So we might also see where there's some hidden motivations in some of the things on the global scale, right? Like, what is the motivation of, now working together, right? And is it truly for the best? Thus, the card looks like it is for the best, but we'll see what happens, right? Oh my, let's go. I say okay a lot, so I'm trying to come up with some other words so I don't feel like I'm repeating myself. So we get to November 6th, and the energy is the answers are already within you. Write them down before they fade. So again, we're going to have those downloads. You're going to have those aha moments. Again, if you were sleeping and putting out that intention to get that answer on that Monday night to Tuesday or Tuesday night to Wednesday, it's reminding you it's not going to stop. Write those down. Keep those inspirations close on hand. So what we have is the moon is in Aquarius and it jumps to Pisces. So we're feeling emotional healing and intuitive connection deepen. So again, we're going to have just more of those downloads. Great for reflection, dream work, or spiritual journeying. It's also very much about healing and higher perspective. We have the elemental overlays of water, which is sensitivity, and air, which is intuition. And the numerology, of course, is 6 because we are on the 6th of November. So it's healing, harmony, devotion, invites care for self and spirit. So what we're going to see on the collective is people crave peace more than arguments. So it is going to be about the more of the coming to that neutral ground. We don't want to argue. We're tired. We already brought that energy earlier in the week. Online chatter softens. Introspective and dream-based content. So again, that dream, those aha moments, those downloads are still happening on the collective. And the collective mood is turning inward. So we're really reflecting, maybe looking at how we need to take more self-responsibility, which is the energy in the air. You're telling Luke, it's okay if you're gay. We accept everybody. I don't know why you feel like you have to tell everybody that, but that's wonderful. I love the trolls. Let's see. Thank you for helping my analytics. Okay, so Thursday in the personal area, we can see and imagine ourselves personally, slower pace,